then. Yes, caught me unawares as normal. Welcome to Shed Talk. And as you caught me playing with my latest invention there, there'll be more of that in the future. Yes, I'll come back to that later. It's been a long time since our last Shed Talk. I'm sorry to say. I hope you've all been well during that period. We're certainly okay here at this end, and hair's growing a bit longer, as you can see. It's falling out, actually. That's not so good. And yes, I might as well tell you what I've been doing. I've been laying 80 miles of string from the shed to the south coast to Mr. O's secret lair, and I'm hoping that later on in the broadcast to be able to make a live connection via my new invention, 80 miles worth of string to the south coast to Mr. O, and bring him live on the production on the program, which will be great. It would be wonderful to have him alive again. Yes. Well, enough of that. Favourable reaction to the last episode of Shed Talk, and apart from one, Mr. K. Elliott. That's the second time I've had correspondence from him. I'll be blacklisting him, I think. He complained that there was distortion on my singing. Well, Mr. Elliott, next time I'll send you a vinyl copy. I know that you're into that sort of archaic period of recording technology between the proper things that went round and the modern stuff. So I'll do that. Perhaps you'll be more satisfied. What else? Oh, I've had some correspondence from Mr. A. Julie, previously of Salisbury, who is now on Mars. Is in the Isidis Planitia Basin, where he's trying to repair the ill-fated 2003 European Space Agency astrobiology mission, the Beagle Mars lander. Of course, we all know that it came to an ill-fated end, and Mr. Julie is out there currently with his Meccano tools and a sonic screwdriver. So good luck to you, Mr. Dooley, and I'm glad you can pick us up at that distance. Excellent. What else? Let me see. What else do we have? Oh, yes. Lots of reports of bluebell sightings all around the country. Excellent. Very pleased about that. And various people writing in with pleasure to say how they've been able to identify the Spanish versus the English bluebell. Very important. And remember, don't eat bluebells. And as a consequence of that, I have heard that the bluebells are no longer on the menu at the local chippy. Fantastic. So, without any further ado, we'll have something from Mr. O. He's sent in a remarkable video entitled Bees and Spoons. So, over to you, Mr. O.
And all was quiet and drowsy in the sunshine, and the little weed stayed in between the flower pots and said nothing.
Bienvenue, ma tante est un lapin et ma machine à laver a épousé la tondeuse.
Heute werden wir Kilts tragen und Bananen in der Mikrowelle kochen.
Ciao, gli inglesi mangiano solo patatine, bevono birra calda e ingrassano.
Oh, look at this cutlery drawer. We've only just tidied it up. Sometimes I think these utensils have got a life of their own.
And our first contestant, please. And your name is?
Timothy Winston Archibald Teacup.
And your specialist subject?
Pass.
So, Mr. Teacup, you have 60 seconds on your specialist subject, starting now. In the game of rugby union, what is the name of the movement of the ball from one player to another?
Pass.
Correct. In geographical terms, what is a low-lying area of land between two mountain ranges called?
Pass.
Correct. In the children's party game, what is the word that comes before the parcel?
Pass.
Is that your final answer?
No pass. Move on.
In the game of bridge, what is the term used when you do not wish to bid on a contract?
Pass.
Correct. In the quiz show Mastermind, I've started, so I'll finish. In the quiz show Mastermind, what do you say when you don't know the answer?
Pass.
Correct. At the end of that round, Mr. Teacup, you have scored 36 points and 1 pass. Your pass question: in the children's party game, the word which comes before the parcel is pass.
Well, Mr. O's world. Oh, hold on. Mr. O's world has become even stranger. Clearly, isolation is suiting him. I only hope that the royalties from his output will pay for his medical health care later in life. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I hope we're going to hear from him later on. Perhaps I'll ask him that question. No. Oh, yes, a little item now for your amusement. A little cartoon for you. And anybody in this cartoon that bears resemblance to anybody I know is purely a coincidence. And I don't want to hear from you. Well, now, as I suggested earlier in the programme, I shall be using my new invention. I've laid 80 miles of this string with one knot. That's at Taunton. Hopefully that won't be a barrier. And if, well, actually, this is my prototype. I'll just bring round my. You can see the real version is actually a butcher's dog food can. It's a bit more. It's got a little bit more life in it, I found. So hopefully I've got Mr. O on the end of this. I'll send him the call. Here we are. Mr. O, are you there? No. Hold on.
Hello, have you got threepence?
Oh, it's there. He's there. Is that Mr. O?
Yeah, I just put in some pennies in slot A.
No. That's that.
Who is this?
This is Simon Taylor from Shed Talk.
Oh my jalopy squidlings! I'm on the radio. I've always wanted to have a chat with you, Mr. Wogan, Terry. Can I have an autograph from my pet ferret?
Yes.
Do you want me to give you my, even me give you my bank sort code account number though, so that your mate Parky can send me one of his biros?
Indeed. I'll consider that. Well, I'd like to ask you a few questions. I understand.
Certainly.
I understand you're in your South Coast hideaway. What time is it there?
Well, let's have a look. According to my sundial, it's daytime.
Oh, what a coincidence! Crikey. Where can you tell me where your whereabouts? What whereabouts are you broadcasting from?
Well, actually, I'm sitting in the smallest room in the house
Yeah.
on my own,
Uh-huh.
reading the latest copy of Ferret Weekly, but sadly it's the only paper in this room at the moment.
Well, a bit of a left field question for you here. Just to test your mettle. What does Newton's law of universal gravitation tell us about the relationship between the gravitational attraction of two objects and their distance apart?
The gravitational force is proportional to the inverse square of the distance between the two objects.
That's very good. I'm impressed. Very good indeed. Well, your contribution to Shed Talk has been inspiring. You know, we've just been watching Bees and Spoons, and your very, very informative video on the production of and drinking of beer. There's a big public out there for you. But I'm wondering, is there any concealed message or a deeper meaning to your work as a film producer?
Well, yes. Barry Norman, you're quite right to have noticed that there is a concealed message, but I've forgotten where I've hidden it.
Oh.
The deeper meanings of this particular piece are similar to those found in the film noir genre, such as the classic 1950 Night in the City starring Jules Dassin, or the 1958 film Touch of Evil starring Orson Welles. And this, combined with the metaphysical juxtaposition of Google Translate, I believe gives the viewer a much deeper insight into the complexities of the two characters who open the piece. Later in the piece, there is a homage to the work of Busby Berkeley, but with a modern, stripped-down utilitarian approach, which is an oblique reference to the lack of funding in the toupee-making industry today. The final scene of this piece takes its words from the play 12 Angry Men, but not necessarily in the same order as they appear in the play. So overall, a huge number of subliminal references in Bees and Spoons, which the viewer will hopefully be entertained by. As to my overall works, I think the other major influence of my work as a film producer is Taunton Cider Company's Match.
Oh, oh yes, that's very interesting. Yeah, well, so have you got any new developments, any new material underway that we can look forward to?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. A new film concept which takes me in a completely new direction. It's called Mr. O Goes to the Moon, and it's completely out of this world.
Well, looking forward to that. I've got Mr. A. Julie at the moment, who's on Mars repairing the Beagle lander there. So, you know, maybe we'll develop a interplanetary audience. So, well, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure, but I'm not sure about that. Thank you very much for coming on live to the programme. Is there anything you'd like to say or add before we say goodbye?
Yes. 6 and 3 equals 10.
Splendid. Well, that was, ladies and gentlemen, the mighty Mr. O. And he's in his lair, his hideout there on the south coast. And I'm hoping that his forthcoming production will arrive shortly. Mr. O Goes to the Moon. I'm sure that we'll enjoy it. Anyway, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that just about rounds it up for Shed Talk this week. Shed Talk. And thank you very much to my special guest, Mr. O, for appearing live on my new invention. I'm just off to patent that. But before I do that, I'll be taking a heavy dose of Prozac. Probably Jameson's own brand. to recover from the trauma of a live encounter with Mr. Rowe. What else? Yes, well, I hope you've enjoyed it. I haven't offended anybody, as usual. And it's goodbye, really. Keep safe. Keep well. And I'll be back in about a week. Maybe. Okay. Au revoir, mes amis.